Building a better Bay Area means giving you the information you need to vote. And what happens in the San Francisco mayor's race will impact not only the city, but the entire Bay Area. So this week, we're talking with each of the top 5 mayoral candidates on ABC 7 News at 3. And joining us today is San Francisco District 11 Supervisor Ahsha Safai. Supervisor Safai, so nice of you to come in.
Thanks so much. It's a beautiful day in San Francisco today.
Yeah, really nice. Great for a walk. Look, I think it's fair to say of the 5 main candidates, you have the lowest name recognition. And as such, I just want to give you a quick 30 seconds or so to tell people who you are and what you're about.
Well, listen, I'm proud to represent a part of town that's predominantly working in middle-class families. I'm an immigrant to this country. I came here when I was 6 years old, fleeing violence, a lot of what you're seeing in the Middle East today. Went to MIT for city planning, and I've dedicated the last 24 years to public service in this city. Worked under 2 mayors, Mayor Willie Brown, Mayor Gavin Newsom, was a deputy department head for community development, worked at Public Works, cleaning and greening our streets, so I have that experience. And then ran my own small business and worked with organized labor, the janitors union and others for almost a decade. And now I've been on the board for the last 7.5 years. So when you put all that together, I actually have the most diverse set of experience, both public and private, bringing it to the job day one. And I think that's what you need. You need someone's ready to hit the ground running day one.
So are you an insider or outsider?
You know, I've been in City Hall for the last 7.5 years, but I also have an outsider's perspective. I've never lost touch with everyday residents. When I got elected, I knocked on thousands of doors every single time. I make it a point to be out and about all over San Francisco listening, and I think that's how you don't lose touch. But again, I ran my own small business. I worked in organized labor. A lot of these buildings in the downtown, the members are there cleaning in the night. So understanding the perspective of working people, working in middle-class people who are often forgotten, that's what separates me from the pack.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think last year you were the first of the major candidates to declare your candidacy to challenge Mayor Breed. Why do you want to be mayor?
I want to be mayor because we need a city for all San Franciscans. We can't just be a city with billionaires and billionaire heirs. We have 50 billionaires in San Francisco, 3rd highest in any other city in the United States. And we have a lot of extreme poverty. But who's fighting for working and middle-class people? We have to make sure that all San Franciscans can thrive in this city, whether it's through support with childcare, jobs, affordable housing. We have to have a plan that makes this a city that's balanced so everyone can thrive. And that's why I'm running for mayor.
Okay, let's talk about some of the issues most important to the city. Public safety is probably on top of that list. You've criticized Mayor London Breed's approach. You were opposed to Proposition E, which passed her measure. It's seen as voters' desire to really give police more latitude and really focus on cracking down on crime. So given that, what specific measures would you want to implement that are decidedly different from what's been done before?
So we're down officers right now, but we're not down the willpower. And what I put forward this past January was to have mandatory foot and bike patrols. Let's get the officers out of their cars and doing proactive community policing. We have never fully done that in San Francisco. When you go downtown now, we were talking about walking around San Francisco today, you go down to Union Square, you see a lot of police presence now, finally. That was as a result of a lot of the good work that I did to stop and stem the tide of organized retail theft. We need to spread that around San Francisco. We have the ability. I passed the law. We need the leadership from a chief. We need the leadership from the mayor that will fully embrace this philosophy. And I will tell you, yes, I was against elements of Proposition E 100%. We are the 2nd most densely populated city in the United States. We have the lowest capture rate on police chases and the highest injury rate for officers and innocent bystanders. So rather than waiting until it's crisis, we have to be able to get out there proactively and get the officers there, deterring crime before it happens.
Right. I want to turn to homeless.
And I want to say one last thing. Another thing that we're doing on this ballot measure is we're going to stem the tide of retirement. So we're putting a charter amendment on that will allow officers that would retire to stay on the force as we build up the ranks. And then the last thing, I have a loan forgiveness program for first responders, because it's not just about police, it's about fire, 911, nurses, the entire gamut, and we're down in all of those areas. So we want to incentivize them to come work for San Francisco.
All right, I want to talk about homelessness, of course, another big issue in the city. Just today, you probably heard earlier in our broadcast, we mentioned Mayor Breed is promising aggressive sweeps of encampments that will begin next month. And you've heard her refer to the court injunction that had tied the city's hands until the grants pass ruling from the Supreme Court. So what are your solutions, given that you've criticized the previous administration or the current one for not being effective or quick enough?
I mean, listen, I'll just say there's a lot of incompetence from Mayor Breed. There's a lot of lack of leadership, management, and accountability. We have a $16 billion budget, $15.9 billion. We have the ability to get shelters stood up. We don't have enough shelter beds. We have to go out and aggressively count. We only do that every 2 years. Let's know what the right number is, and then we have to build aggressively the number of shelter beds. We can end street homelessness. I think it's very telling that someone that's been in office for almost 2,198 days, almost 2,200 days, over 6 years, is now finally waking up to the fact that people are frustrated with people on our streets living in tents. We have the ability to do that. We got to stand up shelter. We got to utilize the Homeward Bound program. It's another thing that the mayor buried in bureaucracy. We got to get that back up. If you can give someone a ticket and get them to reunite with their family and their loved ones in another city, 2/3 of the time we do that over the last 15 years, people never come back. That is really about managing our resources and about implementing an accountability. And that's what this mayor lacks. And it's surprising she's going to do it 2 months before the election. She's had 6.5 years to get the job done, and it hasn't happened.
We have only a minute, so I want to give you a chance to talk real quickly about two things that most people, I think, agree need to be grown in the city, and that would be jobs and also housing.
Yeah.
What are your specific concrete plans?
So we have 40 million square feet of empty office space in our downtown. We want to make people feel welcome to work, live, and thrive in San Francisco. I have a plan to occupy and reoccupy some of that 40 million square feet of empty office space. Like Phoenix, like New York, like a lot of other places around the country that invested in creating urban university campuses. So I put forward a plan and legislation that will allow us to buy some of the buildings. They're at historic low, get people and universities to invest and partner with our city so we can create urban campuses, and also make Public Works 24/7 department, truly cleaning. We got to have it safe. I talked about foot patrols. We got to have it clean. And once we do that, we can get jobs back in San Francisco.
Supervisor Ahsha Safai and also mayoral candidate, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thanks so much for having me today.